Hello, welcome back. I'm Kristen and you are in the good. And this is our weekly conversation around the energies of the week. And we use tarot, we use oracle, and I just tap into my own intuition. And let's see what wants to be said this week. I do want to start off with a quote. My favorite filmmaker, but also one of my favorite humans who I never actually met in real life, died yesterday, David Lynch. And I found this quote that really fits our time here together, and I want to share it. Intuition is the key to everything. In painting, filmmaking, business, everything. I think you could have an intellectual ability, but if you can sharpen your intuition, which they say is emotion and intellect joining together, then a knowingness occurs. So it's that heart-mind connection. So, David Lynch, if you know, you know. Let's take a moment to honor him by taking a deep breath and just connecting to our heart and feeling that just invisible cord, that invisible line, that connection that you have from your heart to your mind to your heart, and this energy that flows very freely. If you open up those passageways so that there's less stuckness between the two, between the heart and the mind, and you can freely move between them. All right, let's see what's up. So letting go wants to pop out right away. So what are you letting go of? This feels to me, there's something about the rippling here. It's almost like throwing pennies into a pond. So maybe some of you have made like a wish, and I'm hearing wish upon a star, or you put a wish upon a very structured plan, or an idea or a dream and a goal, and you put a structure to it. But then you made a wish around it. So it wasn't just planning it, being in that, the masculine energy that's so important of action, but also being in the feminine of putting a little mystery around it, putting a little bit of, this is the 3D earth-bound, actions, the practical steps, like the putting the feet to the prayer. But I'm also wanting to connect with my higher self, connect to the universe, connect to the ancestors, connect to the intelligence of nature, the intelligence of the earth, to allow me to free fall into a portal or a space that is unfamiliar to me, where there are endless possibilities. It's not just, the actions and the practical, but it's also, I want there to be space for what could occur that I would never think of, or that I would never dare think of, because, well, that can't happen that fast, or, I can go that high, but not that high, or, this is the practical reality of it, but, it would be a pipe dream to think that I could have this achievement with it. So it's letting go of, whatever blocks you have around believing that there could be something impossible that occurs. Long-held prayers that are finally being answered. A lot of emotion here. Feels like there was a grief process that occurred while in the planning of things. It's like, okay, I've lost something, or I've had to let something go. So now I'm going to work on something new, and I'm going to put this very practical, grounded action plan to it. But I'm not going to forget who I am as a magical being at the same time. That I'm someone that, can work with the movement of, the cycles of life. And again, let there be room for, that clean slate to kind of take its own life, that I can put a plan in motion. And then that plan that I put in motion can build up on itself and its own momentum. That all I need to do is simply put the foot down on the new path, write down the goal on the paper, put the words down in the journal, think of the steps I want to take, and that's enough. It's just taking those actions are enough to initiate, to ignite something that is way more profound. It's almost like let yourself think big. And it's reminded me of the David Lynch quote where it's about, the heart and the mind, right? It's not just the practical stuff. And it's not all just, woo, we're up here, we're going to do, I'm going to do a vision board and then stick it on there and then look at it every single night without actually taking some practical actions, right? The two have to come together. Were you a David Lynch fan? If you are, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite film was. Let's honor David Lynch by putting all of our favorite David Lynch recommendations for those who aren't familiar with David Lynch in the comments below so that they can discover him. And postponement. You don't want to, postpone. Notice the green in both of these. It's sort of like, it's, you don't want to postpone the planting of your own, garden. You don't want to stop yourself from flourishing. And remember, you can get too caught up in the intellect over here of it all, because we can solve, ourselves out of, why not to do it, or why it's not practical, or why we should, I should only expect to get here this year. And then, I want to do this 3-year plan. I had something like this recently, and I said I had a 3-year plan to a friend of mine, and he goes, don't you think that's a little bit, a little bit long? And this is very specific to me, but he's like, maybe you should do something like a 1 year, but I wouldn't dare think that I could get that certain thing done in 1 year. It's not about not being practical, because we don't want to collapse our goals, right? So that it's like, oh, I didn't get this done in 6 weeks, so that means I can't do it. But at the same time, we don't want to hold ourselves back and constantly postpone, because really there's like a fear, right? Where when we connect into our heart, when we allow our heart to be part of the process, then these vulnerabilities can come up. And that's why we can get too distracted with the mind. But again, there's also this shadow element, this part of us that can get also very distracted with constantly being up in the air about it. It's like, I don't know how it's going to happen. It just is going to happen. So I think the main theme of the week is, how are we balanced? How are we heart and mind? We're letting the brain do its thing. It doesn't need us to go in there and like do extra stuff, because the brain's just gonna be there doing its analytical thing, doing the things that the brain needs to do so that we can live practical lives. But so we don't need to go in there and overthink. The brain doesn't need us to remind it, to think, to analyze, to get the logistics. We just need to be open to it. And for some of you, it's very scary to be open to the logistics or the analytics or the practical stuff, because it can feel very overwhelming in that way. It's like, you know, I kind of like being up in the airy fairy and maybe the miracle and doing, and like, you know, like I said, I'm gonna, what was that old thing about, you know, with the visualization, the person stared at the $100 bill because they wanted $1 million. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. So some of us are scared to look at the analytical. Some of us are scared to go into more to the heart, more to the emotion, because that's vulnerable, because then those fears come up. And so this is a week to kind of look at where we are, and knowing that there's always going to be this pendulum, right, of going to the heart, more to the mind. We need more heart, more mind, more heart, more mind. And where can we keep coming back to this middle place of the two of them working in conjunction with each other to help each other? With the Three of Pentacles, you're not doing this alone, and you're not meant to do it alone. You know, there's also something here in this Three of Pentacles about, okay, this is reminding me of Julius Caesar. If you know that play by Shakespeare, where they, you know, spoiler alerts if you don't know Julius Caesar, but Julius Caesar is murdered, you know, by a group of people that, you know, he thought were friends and colleagues. You know, in his particular, it's like the et tu, Brute, even like his closest confidant. So there's something here about, but this person is addressing, like someone's going in there, you know, they're gonna, you know, they're dangerous right here, right, potentially. But this person they've got their plan. It's like in Shakespeare, there's always the town crier. Hear ye, hear ye. You see it all the time in every medieval movie as well. There's always like, that's how they, you know, we didn't have like, you know, YouTube and internet news like a long time ago. Like often people like, you know, it was all in speech, like a town crier. So, but it's like, okay, stay with me here on this one. I know this is, when you bring David Lynch into the reading, it's going to get weird. It's me. It's my fault. I had to bring David Lynch into the reading. But we love him. Okay, so this feels like you've got your plan. No one can, you know, if you're solid, right? It doesn't matter who wants to come and betray you, or what group of people aren't in coordination or in alignment with you. It's like, you know, no matter what they're doing, you know what you're doing. It's like, you know, wait a second here, you know, I've got this. It's sort of like, I know this is a statue, right? But it's like, to me, this is like someone's going in there, right? To, you know, they're going to like get you from behind. They're going to trick you. And it's like, no, but wait, you can't trick me, because I have a wisdom and a knowledge from everything that I've been through. Yes, I may have been tricked before, but, you know, I learned from that. Or I got into the wrong crowd, the wrong group. I listened to the wrong person, right? And now I have this knowledge that allows me to know better. And not only, it's like, but it's not only to know better for yourself and not get involved, but even to be like, you know, who do you think you are? That was specific for someone. It's like, you know, you have this knowledge, and this knowledge rests in your body also as this deep knowing, this intuition. I can trust my gut now. Like, I'm like, wait, no, what are you doing? What are you going to do that over there to that, you know? Why are you going to go betray them? Why are you going to steal their information? Why are you, you know, why are you trying to, you know, go after her boyfriend or his girlfriend, or, you know, what are you doing? Why are you going to go gossip? Why are you going to try to destroy that? Like, I've been through this before. I know this. I see what you're doing. And I, with ease and with calm, call you out. Because you're not holding on to your heart in fear anymore. And, you know, it's like you're at a place where you're really ready to let your ideas, to tap into your intelligence, your knowing, your wisdom, your talents, your skills, who you are at the core of who you are, your authenticity, your genuineness, to really create something very visible, very tangible in this life that you're living for your own personal benefit. And it's like, it's close to your heart and it is vulnerable, but it's almost like, you know, I wear this in front of my heart too. My heart is vulnerable. I don't want to keep holding in the intelligence of my heart. I protect my heart when it needs protecting, but I also understand that when I connect and I have balance from the intellect and the intuition, and they come together, that they both that manifests something very tangible here in terms of what I'm trying to create in my life, in all the different areas of my life, but also in my personal growth. You know, I'm hanging on to what is useful, what is practical, what serves me. And, you know, I let go of what I no longer need, you know, and I jump into the void of unknowingness, knowing that I'm carrying everything that I need within me. I have it in myself. It's not something that I'm going to go out and get, or I have to go on this quest or this big journey. It's like you've already got what you need now. And it's all inside of you. And everything that you have around you that you've accumulated, that's just, you know, the extra good stuff, you know. The Emperor had popped out, and with Temperance. So in not wanting to be too stubborn here, being the leader of yourself in your own life, having that self-confidence, that doesn't need to come out and show off about it. It's like, you know, you've learned what you've learned, you've been through what you've been through, and it's not about becoming like those that have, you know, treated you a certain way, you know, in a more negative way. This is not about seeking any kind of revenge or showing them. This is having the wisdom of someone who's been on this earth for a while and has a deep understanding and compassion of people because of what you've been through yourself, you know, and learning about your own human nature, and then applying that forward to everyone that you see. This is a very contemplative, you know, Emperor. This is it's sitting in your own personal power, not being afraid of your own personal power. But knowing that, you know, it's not just, you know, about sitting up there throwing commands out at everybody, but also not throwing commands at yourself. You got to do this, you got to do this, here's your timeline, right? It's also, when I put a plan into action, again, what is the mystery that can unfold when I initiate something? Because as things unfold, you'll know the next step, right? And then sometimes you take a step and that's where it needs to go, and you see that, and then you kind of let it rest. You see what unfolds, you see what organically comes out, you know. It's interesting. A friend of mine said to me, I can feel in my bones that I'm going to be called upon to do something really big in the next year. And I'm just sitting in a place of completely open space, and I'm not going to try to plan anything. He said, I will know exactly what to do. I know how to structure it. I know how to put the goals together. I mean, this is a man who owns huge companies. I will know what the action steps are going to be. I'm in a place of just being and not knowing, listen, and letting it come. And then letting what the practical steps come in at that. So I always feel like it's that space, or it can go the other way around, that you're putting a certain plan or structure, but then as opposed to waiting for those next steps, it's like, okay, I'm putting an action in, and now I'm being in the space between the action steps. Like, what is the space between the action steps, right? That allows for things to occur, to show you what are the possibilities, what are the next steps. And that's balance, right? Here's this heart-mind balance that we have here again with the Temperance card. So this is a week to look into that connection between your head and your heart, looking at, your goals. What are your goals? Where's the space in your goals, like between your action steps? Allowing yourself to let things arise. And perhaps some of you might want to do what my friend Yaron is doing, and just knowing that something is coming, allowing to let it be, and just trusting that you are going to know exactly what to do based on your personal wisdom, your life experience, and everything that you've achieved being there ready for you to utilize. And you'll know exactly how to utilize it. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here in this reading with me today. Career path focus on Wednesday, love and intimacy focus on Friday. Check out some of the meditations I have here for you. And don't forget to let me know what your favorite David Lynch film is. And please that would mean a lot to me. Please subscribe if you are wanting to continue to take this ride here with me. I would love to connect with you more. Thank you for the 160 people who have subscribed. You guys make my day. And I will see you on the next one. These readings are here for you whenever you need, and I hope you will come back often. Bye.